Today is March the 18th, 2015. My name is Tanya Finchum, along with Alex Bishop. We're with Oklahoma State University, and today we're in Edmond, Oklahoma to speak with Dorothy Messenger, and this is part of our Oklahoma 100-Year Life, so thank you for having us today.
You're welcome.
Let's start with having you tell us when and where you were born.
I was born in Dallas, Texas on March 4th, 1915.
So you just recently had a birthday.
Yeah, right.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
I'm a March person too.
Mother always told me it was snowing on March 4th, 1915 when I was born, which is not usual for Dallas, Texas.
What did your parents do for a living?
My father was, at the time I was born, he was working for Stafford Loudon, an office supply store.
Supply store?
Yeah, office and stationery.
Okay.
The way it described it.
And did your mother work?
No, not in those days.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
3 sisters, no brothers.
Older or younger, or?
I'm the oldest.
So you were the bossy one?
Yeah. And the first grandchild.
And spoiled.
Yeah.
Well, how did you come to be in Oklahoma?
My husband was a minister for the Christian Church, Disciples of Christ.
Okay.
And he went to school in Chicago. And from there, we came to Texas first in 52, we came to Oklahoma. He was called to be the minister of First Christian Church, Stillwater.
Stillwater, okay.
OSU was very well known. I worked on the campus for 11 years.
Okay. That would have been in about what time period?
It was 53 to 64.
So you were there when the name changed from
Yes.
Oklahoma A&M to OSU.
Yeah,
Remember much about campus?
I do. I remember we women wore high heels, pushed all the union for coffee breaks and hobble along.
Hobble along.
Yeah,
The union was new at that time too,
very new.
wasn't it?
In fact, when we would want to discuss whether to accept that church call, that was one of the things they wanted us to be sure to see. I was very proud of it.
And the library was new at that time too,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
it? Well, then let's back up. Where did you go to school? You yourself?
Stripling High School in Fort Worth.
Fort Worth. What was the name?
Stripling High School.
Triplin?
Stripling,
Stripling?
yeah.
Okay.
He was, Mr. Stripling was a big guy. One of the department stores was Stripling's.
Okay.
And then I went to TCU for my freshman year. But it was too expensive for my folks. This was depression.
Okay.
And you could go for $120 a semester, but that was, nobody had $120. So I went 1 year and then went back later after I had worked, saving my money. I worked in the registrar's office for a long time till I was graduated and married my husband. The beginning of our junior year.
What was your major in college?
In those days, it was called commercial subjects.
What would that be? I have no idea. Commercial.
Anything in business.
Oh, business. Okay.
Yeah, and I actually got my permanent teacher certificate. Texas permanent lifelong teacher certificate.
A lifelong one.
Yeah.
So you taught typing, or
I was if I had a job,
oh, if you had a job you didn't work.
I went to Chicago with my husband, and there I've worked to put food on the table. It was a good experience.
Sure. You had to work in order because his salary wasn't that good.
That day he was not a salaried person. He was a student.
Oh, you worked while he finished
Yes.
school.
University of Chicago, and even in those days it was a good school. So,
And it did snow a lot up there.
yes, right. Most snow I had ever seen. But that was a good experience. I worked down the loop.
Okay.
Took the L to work at first. We had no idea how really big Chicago was. And I took this job. I knew I could do it for commercial credit. I had worked for a commercial credit company. They furnished loans on classroom products. And this classroom dealer, they had never heard of women harassment. So it was terrible. This fellow that owned it his name was W-R, D-E-W-A-R-Y, W-A-R, Dewar. And I did the work well, except that I was the only one.
The only woman?
Yeah, and all this crash, it was not good. It was driving me. So my husband said, we just can't have this. So I quit after 6 weeks. And it took me about an hour and a half on the L to get there, and an hour and a half after to go home, which is not good.
No, that's not.
So they called later and asked me please to come back. The auditor did. And I said, I explained to him that I couldn't stand it. So, well, anyway, it was terrible.
They used bad language?
Oh, dirty jokes.
Dirty jokes?
Yeah. And I was the brunt of it all. So, I think he was a short fellow that smoked big cigars and thought he was life's choice for women. So,
So you just walked out and said,
yeah,
I'll see you, huh?
Yeah.
Well, did you find another job after that?
Yes,
There.
a good one.
So when did you get married?
Beginning of our junior year,
So 1936,
6,
or right during the Depression.
right in the middle. And I look back and I thought, how we got to Chicago, we borrowed $200 from my Uncle George. And he said he loaned to my family, but I never got it back. But we were determined to pay him back. So with $200, we bought suits for him so we could apply for jobs and look half decent. And They paid our train fare. 24 hours we go on Santa Fe train to go from Fort Worth to Dallas. I mean to Chicago. And then we paid our food and lodging for the first month. I don't know how we thought we could get back home, but because neither our parents had any money at all. But well, it was different.
You just had a positive attitude.
Yeah, we thought we could do anything.
And it worked.
It worked.
It worked.
Yeah. Yeah. You said you wanted me to say something about the flu epidemic.
Yes, the flu epidemic.
Well, I was barely 3, but my earliest memory was of that sickness. All 5 of us, all 4 of us. But I had one baby sister then, but we were so sick. My granddad had to come and take care of us. I remember they hired a woman to help take care of the baby and mother was swear she thought that the woman was not washing. My sister's diapers was hanging them out to dry without washing. And if finding someone to help was not easy. But my earliest recollection of anything at all was my mother standing at the door singing, "Open wide the windows, open wide the door, let the sunshine in." And that was when we had all been so sick. But she was beginning to come
Feel better.
Yeah. But I remember the young person who was a teenager during that time was so sick he never recovered. His memory was gone. He was just kind of as non-entity. I remember he sat on the front porch day after day, not able to do a thing. I don't know what happened to him, but it was the flu that did it.
And all of you survived?
Yeah, all survived. But it was not a good time.
Not 1918, 1919,
Yeah.
somewhere in there. Did the doctor come do house calls?
Yeah. I don't know how he just survived.
Yeah.
But all my, in those days, nobody ever went to dentist unless you had a bad toothache. The idea of taking children to the dentist was completely off the record. I never went to a dentist until I was 26. And then I decided, I had read that after the first baby, any baby, you better go have your teeth checked. So I did have one filling.
That wasn't too bad.
No, it wasn't too bad at all. And now I have all my teeth. So,
That's excellent.
yeah.
Drink a lot of milk in your youth?
You know, I never drank milk. I can't even remember ever a glass, even chocolate milk. I can't stand it. It's like medicine to me.
Well, do you have a sweet tooth?
No, not necessarily.
Well, that's 2 good things.
Yeah.
Well, milk's not so good, but
But my calcium is too high.
Well, did you and your husband ever travel or go on a honeymoon or do any of that?
Never on a honeymoon, but we did lots of traveling. my family, my two sons, have lived overseas for quite a long. My older son, I have 3 children, the daughters, the oldest, and the 2 boys. And Max, the middle child, he's lived in all over Europe, Denmark, Germany, England, and now Switzerland. And for some years he was in Brazil. We spent 5 weeks with him in Brazil, and we went to Denmark and Norway when he was up in the Scandinavian countries. And now he's, as I said, Switzerland. But the other boy has lived in Thailand twice. So we moved there twice. And Andy got sick when we were going to celebrate, but I always wanted to go to China. And we had arranged to go with a British tour, but he got sick in Hong Kong. We were supposed to meet the British tour group. He's very sick. So I had to cancel that trip. But we were not with a group when he was so sick. I was there by myself with him, and the hotel didn't look kindly on anybody sick. So they don't want anyone to be scared off. So anyway, it was wonderful. We had lots of good overseas experiences.
That was kind of scary to be sick and be in a foreign country.
Yeah, my son who lived in Thailand had remembered one of his high school friends lived in Hong Kong, so he called him and asked if he knew a hospital that would be adequate. He said that his wife had her baby at Seventh-day Adventist, and it was wonderful.
Small world, if you.
Yeah, one of the funny things, I was keeping close tab on the expenses because Blue Cross Blue Shield would honor the expenses even overseas. So when we were checking out at the hospital, I said to the doctor, I don't see any bill for you here. He said, Seventh-day Adventist don't charge other Christians for doctor fee. So, excuse me. Yeah. He said, I was looking at his eye. He said, of course, if I were up to me, I'd charge you. I'm a Baptist. He didn't charge. That's the story of my life. I've written a book called my memoirs.
You were a minister's wife.
Yes.
So how important was the church to you?
Very important.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Like what role you played as a minister's wife?
It was wonderful. I happen to be one of those people who enjoyed it. Not every minister's wife feels that way. But it was good. Much of my growth comes from the opportunities that I had in the church. And my husband was always good about taking me along workshops and that sort of thing. So I was very fortunate.
Would you teach Sunday school classes or
Oh, yes.
sing in the choir?
Well, not so much the choir. I sang well enough not to hurt anything, not to ruin anything, but that was it. But if they expected a musician, I was it. I ended up working as an accountant. Manager for a foundry and machine shop. They had 150 employees at one time.
So you're good with numbers?
Yeah, I loved it.
Could have been a CPA?
I could have had, except at OSU, I could have had free tuition since I worked there, but I didn't. It's a hard road to hoe. And with 3 little kids and church work, I couldn't do it.
Was it? Where was the church in Stillwater?
Where
We were
was,
always on campus. You worked on campus?
yes,
Your husband's ministry was on campus?
no,
No?
and it was involved on campus, but not, we had a special campus minister.
Okay.
So it was good, it was a good town.
It's changed a lot in the years too,
Yeah,
hasn't it?
Did you ever work with young men or young women in your life?
Yes, particularly, in fact, when I was 89, I was forming a group of young women. The pastor had asked me if I would do that. We met weekly and studied a book. So I've had wonderful experiences. In fact, the reception we had here for my 100th birthday, 200 people arrived for the reception. So they came from all over.
200.
Did you ever expect to live to 100?
No, never would have guessed it. Yeah,
Did anyone in your family?
no.
You were the first?
In fact, of my four girls in the family, I'm the oldest and the last to die. We died in exact reverse of our birth.
The baby went first?
Yeah,
The young one? Well, how old were your parents?
69 each one when they died.
Well. So what do you think your secret is?
I don't know. Luck, I think, luck.
And maybe faith?
Maybe, but I think the most deciding factor was the church. All the wonderful experiences I had.
Did he move around much as the minister?
No,
Switch churches?
we 12 years at Stillwater, and then we went to Bartlesville, 13 years there, and ended up at Woodward for 8 years. So, in fact, my younger son started school in Stillwater and graduated there same year, same place.
Now that worked out nicely.
Yes, it,
Woodward's quite a difference too from Bartlesville.
yes,
On the other.
yeah. It was a good place. I remember the first time that we worked there to talk about with the church committee. And the little motel where we stayed. The next morning at breakfast, I was the only one in the whole. But and he saw the men coming in with their muddy boots and their outfits. You would have thought they were pretty uniformed. Out there you can tell that maybe several thousand acres. And I just come home from Russia week before. You look don't matter. Don't tell you that they don't tell you much.
Looks don't tell you much, you know. Well, Woodward, that would have been what time period?
That was 1976.
Okay. I'm not sure when they had that bad tornado out there.
That was 47.
That was quite a ways.
Yeah, they are very tornado shy.
Yeah, they had a bad one. I
Yeah.
remembered that.
Yeah,
So you have 3 children,
yeah.
and they gave you a great party.
It was wonderful.
Is there anything left on your bucket list that you want to do?
I can't do much.
Can't do.
If I were, I can't travel anymore. But I feel satisfied. I've been far more places than most people.
Yeah, a lot more than me.
I've been all over the States.
Been to every state in the United States, pretty much.
One or two I've not.
Hmm.
But so many of our church meetings that were all over the nation.
Well, when you were growing up, did your mother make your clothes?
Oh yes, she hated it.
She hated it.
And so I took a couple of sewing classes. Every girl had to do sewing and cooking. So I got the sewing job. She said she would do my personal laundry, anything, if I would just do the sewing. So I did.
Was it just mending things, or was it making dresses and
Yeah.
things?
I even made a coat for my younger sister.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm sure that it didn't look pretty good. She was the one that suffered.
Well, did she quilt, your mother? If she didn't
No.
like sewing, she probably didn't.
No.
Well,
She was a gardener.
gardener, okay.
Yeah, that was very relaxing to her.
Flowers or vegetables? Flowers.
Both. We always had tomatoes and okra and things in season.
Would she can it?
Not much with counter. Green beans, she would, those and tomatoes and peaches, she would can, but not ever meat.
Did you live in town?
Yeah,
You lived in town?
I was always a city girl.
Well, what was the Depression like for you? But I assume you were in the Dallas area, back in Chicago. What was the Depression like?
It was pretty grim. We didn't have no money to buy shoes, and I can remember, I still have a hard time buying shoes because my mother sent me down at 12 to pick out shoes for myself, and I made a mistake. The salesperson talked me into buying shoes that were short, too short, and I felt so, but there was no money to buy another pair, and I've always felt as if I did such a poor job. I've hated buying shoes since then.
You had sore toes for a little while, huh?
Yeah. But life's been good.
Would they order things from like Sears and Roebuck and Montgomery Ward, that type of thing?
No, not
No.
we didn't order. We went downtown.
Oh, you went, did your
Yeah.
shopping downtown?
Yeah.
How would you get there?
Streetcar.
Streetcar.
Yeah. At 9, yeah, I remember, we, for a special treat, we could take 15 cents or a quarter, and my dad had passes to the theater,
For the theater?
and for 15 cents, we could ride a streetcar down and come to Coney Island, and a Coke, and then go to the movie for free. But that was when they had big vaudeville shows. 3 theaters in Fort Worth had big vaudeville shows.
Vaudeville.
Yeah, and then it was as good as the movie. Yeah, and as long as the movie. But I can remember dreaming of what I could do with $10. You could buy a whole outfit, shoes and everything. Yeah, it was very different.
Very different.
Yeah. One pair of shoes was a luxury,
Once a year? How?
if that often.
If that often?
Yeah.
Mm.
It's different day.
Do you remember the first car your dad had?
Oh yes. I think it was, in those days, not every man or woman knew how to drive. And the mothers told us that when they were first married, Dad went down to buy a car, and he bought this car, and the salesman asked him, did he need help knowing how to drive it? No, he didn't need help. Stripped the gears on the way home. It's too ashamed to admit he didn't know how to drive. And of course there was no windshield wiper, no heater, no anything. In fact, I remembered between Fort Worth and Dallas, there was a gravel, unpaved road. And there was one hill called Rock Hill, and the cars weren't made to go uphill. It's one car which got stalled halfway up. It has to go roll back down and try again. But I hated that because Dad was a terrible driver, and rolling back down that hill was scary. So we'd drop off on either side, but backing down was scary. So
No guardrails in those days.
no.
What did your mother learn how to drive?
Eventually, she was driving the day before she had her heart attack. Yeah. But he was always the driver on the highway. Yeah. So
Well, who taught you how to drive?
he did.
He did.
He half the time had to push his car to get it started. Gosh, he didn't take care of the car at all. he didn't know what being about. He was not a handyman.
Well, do you remember the first television? Your first television?
Yes, I remember the first radio.
Oh, okay. We'll start there.
It was a little radio crystal set. And in those days, if you got a local station, that was good. But if you got a faraway city like Chicago, I remember the men would run out in the street yelling, "I just got Chicago." But we never had a party line. We did once, but there was those were the days.
Party lines, everybody picked up, huh?
Yeah.
When they rang.
Yeah.
Well, if you listened to Chicago on the radio, you heard some baseball games.
Not in those early days.
Not in those early
You
days.
couldn't have understood it. It was so noisy with static.
Static. Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, being from Texas, you would have listened to is it Bob Wells, Western Swing,
Yes.
in
Yeah.
those days.
And what's the biscuits? What they song? The Doughboys. Yeah.
The Doughboys.
Yeah.
Texas Doughboys.
Yeah.
Well, would you go dancing?
Well, there was out near Lake Worth, there was a big open air dance hall where they had a lot of bands playing, and that's where my friends and I could go out for free, and it was fun. I hope my stuttering hasn't been too bad.
No, and I was thinking you Seattle, or was that someone else went to Seattle? No, someone else.
Yeah. What I don't know if we asked, what do you think's contributed to? Well, you said luck, but did you ever do anything, exercise?
I think 3 good meals a day was part of it, and regular sleep.
Regular sleep.
What would you consider a good meal then?
Well, in those days we had lots of beans and cornbread.
Brown beans?
No, Mother used lima beans and navy beans.
Limas.
Most people don't like limas, but we had limas and navy beans, and lots of macaroni and cheese.
And for breakfast?
I had toast and jelly.
Not eggs and bacon?
No.
Sausage? Would she usually...
Couldn't afford it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, would she fry things or bake things?
Fried,
Fry.
yeah. Fried chicken and gravy,
What was the favorite thing she made that you liked?
pies. Yeah.
What kind of pie?
Chocolate pie.
Hey, I'm right there with you. She made her own crust.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty good.
Did she teach you?
No, she didn't. I became a good cook, but it was not from her.
What would you do for exercise?
Skating,
Roller skating?
yeah. When we were little, we did lots of skating and jumping rope,
Jumping rope?
yeah.
And then when you got married?
We played tennis.
Oh.
I got a reasonable amount of exercise.
Well, keeping up with 3 kids was exercise
Yeah,
too, wasn't
right.
it?
Yeah.
And enough sleep, 8 hours?
But
8 hours was enough sleep?
yes,
But
if I could get it, yeah.
well, you saw the first refrigerators too.
Oh, ice boxes.
Icebox.
Grew up with those. And I never had a washing machine until I had 3 little children. Lots of hand washing.
In the sink or on a rub board?
Sink, sometimes with a rubber. But I got the first washer in Denton available after the war. Because we knew the dealer and he figured I needed one.
With three children. A lot of diapers.
But we had to boil them those days. We boil them and to get out any germs.
Germs.
Yeah,
And then hung them outside,
yeah.
even in the winter.
In the winter and they freeze. Did you know that a sheet will tear into freezing weather?
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, with the wind. It'll tear a sheet right into. Yeah.
So it was a happy day when you got an electric washer.
Oh, and even a hand washer. It was good.
A wringer washer.
Yeah.
Well, did any of your siblings, no, you had sisters. I was going to ask if any siblings went to World War II, but you had sisters, so no, they didn't.
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
In fact, you wouldn't remember when leave what the washer and dryer I have now is 62.
The one you have now is, you bought it in 62,
Yeah,
and it still works?
yeah, too. And no nicks, and it's a Maytag.
That's why then, huh?
Yeah. That mechanic was never. I never had work on.
It's not been worked on either. Wow.
They've been through renters and my 71, my 63 daughter was home when we did her clothes in these same machines.
It was made to last.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Which is not true anymore.
No, it isn't.
What were holidays like growing up for you?
Christmas was certainly different. Nothing by the Frank wine these days. And the wrapping paper was white tissue. That was it. And we had stickers, no Scotch tape. I had stickers that you licked and put on the white tissue paper.
I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah,
Huh.
that was all that we had.
Well, it looked pretty under the tree. The white tissue would look pretty under the tree.
It was all that we had. That one done, no.
What did you typically get for Christmas? What type of gifts?
Not much. We had. I remember one Christmas that I got a watch. That was big too. I never did have a bike. We didn't have the money for me to have a bike. My youngest sister eventually got a bike.
How many years were between you?
12 between me and the
The
youngest.
youngest one. So you had a little hand-me-down clothes, but you got them first?
Yeah.
So what was it like to live in a household with sisters? They often talk about the sisterhood. What was that like for you growing up?
Well, four of us always shared a bedroom, 2 double beds. Sister next to me and I shared one double bed, and the mattresses were about this thick, far cry, and nobody had bedspreads. The sheets were the cover, and we had quilts that were so heavy that they were wool made out of, they weren't quilts, they were called comforters, tacked.
Those are heavy.
Yeah. Men's suits were cut up and wool made comforters. Oh gosh, they were heavy.
Well, did your mother make those or someone else?
She did, they were required, but no sewing. So she didn't mind making those.
And you had to have them, so.
Yeah. We slept with 3 or 4 of those over in the winters. And I can remember her putting newspapers between the springs and the mattress to keep the wind from going. Yeah. It was a big help.
So that how was the house heated, with a wood stove or what?
No.
No?
These little burners about this big with chocolate burning. I don't know what they were called. And you didn't ever leave a fire going while you left the house. They were open heaters, and the front of you got warm, but the back was cold.
I think your sense of humor has something to do with you still being here.
Could be.
So do you have a motto you live by? A philosophy you've adopted in life?
As I've gotten older, I think your understanding of how people become who they are is more lenient. You don't expect people to be perfect, because you know you yourself are not perfect.
Be a little bit more forgiving.
Yes. Has to be.
What do you need?
I'm looking around. There's some pictures. You might think that's my mother.
That's a great picture.
Yeah. She was 5 years old. 1898.
Was it your grandfather a photographer?
Yes.
In the Fort Worth area?
Dallas.
Dallas.
Did he have a studio?
Yes. Two studios.
And what was his name?
T.J. Harper.
Harper.
Yeah. In fact, I sat by a black woman not too long ago who, when I mentioned my grandfather, she said, I have pictures that he made of my family.
Wow.
In those segregated days, I went through those, all the white colored fountains. And he had dressing rooms with the black and white. The white one of using a comb that anybody else had used. So it was just different.
Well, segregation days in Fort Worth must have been interesting.
They were very, very segregated. Yeah. Lots of changes in my life.
A lot. What do you think's been the biggest one?
But
What do you think's been the biggest one?
I think communication, the methods of communicating are so different.
Thanks to the computer and the
Yeah.
cell phone.
Yeah. Also, even the telephone.
And it's true.
Yeah.
People don't write letters as much as they once did.
I used to try to write the letters, but I think that people are not going to be saving their emails and communication the way we used to do.
We're missing a few things that way.
Yeah.
Well, did you do a Christmas list of send out Christmas cards every year?
I've done that for ever since the 1940s. I have copies of it.
Of your lists of
Yeah.
who you sent them to?
Not the list way back, but some people I've exchanged Christmas letters with for 60 years.
And that's the only time of year you communicate with them?
What?
Is that the only time of year you communicate with them?
Some,
Some.
yeah. But it's been like a diary to me. We started when the children were little. I put out how they were, and it's fun to look back and read those letters. I've made books of them for the kids.
That's special.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And these last ones have been a little more difficult, a little more intellectual. I've tried to put it in something special, mentally, to help people grow. And I think they've come to look forward to my Christmas letters.
You can add me to your list.
I think I just sent my last one.
You can dictate one.
I need help now.
Well, what's the biggest challenge that you face at 100?
It's finding life meaningful.
And what makes life meaningful for you?
I have some work to do, something challenging.
Well, you said when we first got here, your son recommended that you do something.
Yeah,
What was it?
was writing down my experiences with a stroke.
That's a very good idea.
I've written a trilogy of 3 things. My memoirs, one, my faith journey, another, and my cookbook. The cookbook is kind of different. It's mostly the old recipes that I had. I tell what each recipe came from and how we used it. But most of it, they were needing to be cheap. So I've done 3 books.
Do you have a favorite recipe?
I think one of the things I like is cheese grits.
Cheese grits.
Yeah,
Cheese grits. That sounds good.
very, very good.
And you had a stroke recently. What's that been like?
Very bad. Yeah. It's terrible to feel helpless. See, I can't get in and out of bed then I can have to have someone help me. It's very, very bad. You feel so helpless, and you are. I'm much better than I was. Good therapy works wonders.
Yeah, in a little bit of time.
Yeah. And work hard.
Hard work.
Yeah,
Patience.
yeah, patience.
Well, if when history's written, what would you like it to say about you?
Well, I've been a good mentor, I think. In fact, at my reception, people were asked to write a letter or send a card, and I've got 6 notebooks full of stuff and that's all I need.
You said a good mentor.
Yeah,
Who did you ever mentor? Anybody?
lots of people, they tell me. Yeah. I think that's been one of the most rewarding things that you could ever do.
Mentor in their faith or
Both that attitude.
attitude.
Yeah.
And who would you mentor to primarily?
Well, younger women and people I never even knew that consider me their mentor. I have scans of things written to me, thanking me for that.
Living by example.
Yeah. That and also the small groups that I work with. In fact, one young man quoted his letter to me something that I had said way back in 5th grade when he now has grown children of his own. But that's one of the most rewarding thing.
Yes. Well, any advice for us?
Keep alive. Keep learning.
Keep learning.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Well, we'll close now. We thank you for talking with us
You're
today.
very welcome.
You've been great.